Assalamu alaikum viewers. The topic of my video is understanding crude oil. In the next few minutes, I'll discuss several points about crude oil, such as what is crude oil, chemistry of crude oil, locating crude oil deposits, extraction and fractionation of crude oils to various products. I'll try to explain my subject with the help of some examples. What is crude oil? Crude oil is a black or dark brown liquid, which is shown here. It's a fossil fuel. It is found in earth crust. It is burnt as fuel. It processed to many chemicals. It's a primary source of energy. It's very important commodity and it occurs naturally. Contents of crude oil. It is mostly volatile hydrocarbons. It contains carbon and hydrogen as main elements, contains sulfur and oxygen and nitrogen also, and trace metals, for example, iron, copper, and nickel. Composition of crude oil. Carbon is the highest concentration with 83 to 87%, hydrogen 10 to 14%, and sulfur 0.6 to 6%. They also contain oxygen, nitrogen, and trace elements up to 0.04%. Chemistry of crude oil. Crude oil contains carbon compounds of different structure. Number one, compounds linked with single bond. The example given here is methane, where all carbon bonds are single. Next is compounds linked with double bond. Propylene, where one carbon bond is double. Third is normal alkane, normal pentane, where all carbon atoms are in a straight line. Fourth is branch chain alkane or isoalkanes. The example is isopentane, where one carbon is in the branch position. So these are isoalkane type of compound. Fifth is ring compounds linked with double bond. This benzene, where one ring is there and there are more than one carbon double bonds. Number six is complex compound, which is benzopyrene, and there are more than one ring and there are several carbon double bonds. Classification of crude oil. Crude oils are classified based on API gravity and sulfur content. Specific gravity is reported as API gravity, and its API gravity decreases with increasing sulfur specific gravity, as shown in these two examples here. Classification based on API gravity. Crude oils are classified into four classes: extra heavy, heavy, medium, and light, based on API gravity. All crude oils with API gravity less than 10 are classified as extra heavy, and all those which have API gravity from 10 to 22.3 are classified as heavy crude oil, medium crude oil which are 22.3 to 31.1, and all crude oils which have API gravity more than 31.1 are classified as light crude oils. Classification based on sulfur content as sweet or sour. If sulfur content is less than 1%, it is called sweet crude oil, and if sulfur content is more than 1%, those crude oils are called sour crude oils. There are some examples also given of sweet crude oil and sour crude oil. Sweetness increases with decreasing sulfur content. Formation of crude oil. Crude oil was formed from remains of sea animals, which is shown here, and sea plants, which is shown here, and which lived millions of years ago in many environments at high temperature and high pressure. High pressure and high temperature, and finally these things are converted to crude oil, which is shown here as black strip. Locating oil deposit. Seismic surveys widely used to detect oil deposits. Shock waves are created on the earth by a vibrating truck, which is shown here, and these waves travel through earth and are reflected and recorded on a recording truck here. The national recording of these recordings can indicate presence of oil or gas deposits. Extraction of crude oil. Extraction of crude oil is extremely expensive and time-consuming process. Drilling and pumping methods are generally used. Oil rigs or oil platforms are used to drill oil wells. This is the oil rig, and oil pumps are used to extract oil. This is an example of oil pump. Refining of crude oil by fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is used in oil refineries to separate crude oil into useful fractions. Crude oil is heated to 400 C, and this hot oil enters the column from the bottom as shown here. This is oil reservoir. Oil is heated here and it enters the column at 400 C at the bottom of the column. It's a long column, and the column temperature decreases from bottom to up. Different products are separated as they reach their boiling point and are collected at petrol, naphtha, kerosene, etc., etc., And all these fractions are further treated and purified to meet the final quality requirements to use as the intended use. This table shows the crude oil production data for 2021. Highest production was by the United States, followed by Saudi Arabia, etc. And crude oil reserves 2022 data. Venezuela has the highest amount of crude oil reserve, which is 303.8 billion barrels, followed by Saudi Arabia, Canada, and Iran. Global oil trades, single most important commodity traded worldwide. Every year, oil tankers transport about 2 billion tons of crude oil. Persian Gulf is a major source of oil shipped by sea. Crude oil global trade channels. All crude oil tankers and other ships must pass through one or more channels to reach their destinations around the world. There are five important channels. Number one is Strait of Hormuz, which is located south of Iran, and oil passes through this strait, goes to Asia and Europe. Number two is Bab al-Mandab, which is south of Yemen, and oil, whatever is passed through this Bab, is sent to Europe and North America. Third is Suez Canal, also for Europe and North America. Fourth is Strait of Malacca, which is south of Malaysia, and oil which passes through this strait is sent to Japan, China, and Korea. Last is Panama Canal, which is in Central America, and crude oil which passes through this Panama Canal goes to western part of America, south and north. Strait of Hormuz and Strait of Malacca are two important strategic channel points, Strait of Hormuz and Strait of Malacca. Crude oil import data for 2020. Top 5 exporters and top 5 importers: Saudi Arabia, Russia, United States, and importers: China, United States, India, etc. Role of OPEC in crude oil pricing. OPEC sets production target for OPEC members. It plays very important role in pricing. Price increases if OPEC reduces production. Any decrease in Saudi production alone increases price. OPEC members produce about 30% of world crude oil, and OPEC oil export is about 60% of international oil trade. Concerns about crude oil: non-renewable. Crude oil is non-renewable, so it will exhaust one day. One oil production may reach peaks in 2050 and then start declining. Source of pollution: oil exploration, production, transportation, and processing have devastating impact on environment. Last is global warming. Burning fossil fuel releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. It is considered widely accepted as a major source of global warming. If you found this video helpful, like it, share it, and subscribe to receive new videos. Thank you for watching. That's all.